Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now we're about a quarter of the way through 2023, and I wanted to reflect on my first video I actually put out for the year discussing my top 3 Bitcoin picks for 2023. We're going to talk about that in addition to some of the big news and developments in the crypto space over the course of this video. But before we get into it, please take a second, hit the like button, you guys. It's a big help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to join. And let me know in the comment section below what your outlook is on the crypto/Bitcoin space for 2023, if you're currently holding any of these companies, and which is your favorite pick moving into the back half of this year. Now with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we're going to be discussing what's going on in the crypto market, specifically Bitcoin, over the last couple of weeks, and providing an update on 2 out of the 3 of my top picks for 2023 in relation to the Bitcoin or crypto mining sector. Now, as you can see here, Bitcoin is flirting with $39,000 Canadian. This is a level we haven't seen in the last 6 months. And what's really interesting here is we've seen some big price fluctuations over the last couple of months, really in relation to a lot of some big headlines we're seeing in the mainstream media. So back at the start of November, Bitcoin is trading around $29,000 Canadian. It then took a nosedive all the way down to $21,000. It was trading in that range for a couple of months until we saw a breakout at the start of January from about the $23,000 range to $31,500 by the end of January, a brief pullback, and then another high of $33,400 on February 20th. Now what's super interesting here is in the last 30 days alone, there's been some massive fluctuations. We saw a crash all the way down to $28,000. And since then, Bitcoin has added over $10,000 or about a third to its overall market cap to hit a high, again, just shy of $39,000 at the time of filming. Now, obviously, this is having a massive impact on the Bitcoin mining or Bitcoin related stocks. So this is my Bitcoin miner portfolio. You can see TeraWulf, Hive, Marathon, DMG Blockchain, Riot, DigiHost, CleanSpark, Bitfarms, and Hut8, all of which had phenomenal weeks. You guys, this is as of close on Friday, March 17th, and every single one of these stocks was up anywhere from about 4% on the low end with Bitfarms to about 15% on the high end with Riot. So for anyone that's holding any of these miners in their portfolio, congratulations. You're definitely having a very fun month right now watching the price of Bitcoin surge and these stock prices jump in relation to that. And you were able to hold out through the crypto winter, hit those lows, show some resilience, or your HODL, hold on for dear life strategy, and now you're reaping some of the rewards. Now we're going to come back to this page a little bit later in today's presentation, but the numbers I wanted to pay attention to here specifically are the 52-week range and the market cap of each one of these organizations. So although we're seeing Bitcoin hit highs we haven't seen for the last 6 months, the stocks themselves are not where they were trading even a couple of months ago, and all of them are still relatively low on their 52-week range or 52-week chart. And to really illustrate that point, you can see TeraWulf on top here, 52-week low of about 54 cents, and it's only trading at 61 cents despite this huge rally we've seen in the underlying price of Bitcoin over the last few months. Now, DigiHost and DMG Blockchain are really trading highest in terms of their 52-week range. These are small cap producers, you guys. You can see the market cap on them in the range of about $45 to $55 million. So I think a lot of that really has to do with how undervalued or underknown these stocks were in comparison to the group going into this rally. But for the majority of these companies, you guys, they're in the lower 30% of their 52-week range, which to me as an investor in this space means there's still a tremendous amount of opportunity or value to be had by making these investment choices. Now, with that being said, I wanted to pause for a second and introduce you guys to our video sponsor, which is MooMoo Financial. Now, speaking of high tech or cutting edge technology, MooMoo really gives you the opportunity to invest in a lot of these companies from the ease of your own home with a lot of really user-friendly interfaces and custom search features. So one of the ways that MooMoo is streamlining investing is allowing individuals to actually search on their platform for stocks of a specific interest. And the one I wanted to use an example is all the craze right now. It's ChatGPT which as many of you know has absolutely gone viral over the last couple of months and really at its essence introduced the general public to the power of artificial intelligence and AI. So MooMoo is a trading platform. Some of the benefits here, you guys: zero fees, professional tools like the search features, global market access. So whether you're talking about US listed companies, Hong Kong, China, various different markets around the world, and that professional support. And if you actually take a look at the platform, they've really simplified the investing process for people that are looking to make investment decisions on their own. So in the ChatGPT example, you can simply type that into the search bar. It's going to bring up companies that are related or have interest in ChatGPT and AI type of technology. You can then look at these different companies, do your due diligence on their platform. They rate them based on their analyst ratings. You can look at a variety of different metrics, like for example, short sell activity, and then categorize these stocks by the different sectors that they compete in or the different concepts related to those organizations. And ChatGPT and AI are just one example. You can see gaming, farming, heavy equipment, construction, CAR-T technology. So that's one of the biotech or pharmaceutical focused sectors that we've talked about on the channel. So a really powerful platform. And what's really exciting about MooMoo right now is if you use my affiliate link in the video description below, simply click on that link and you're eligible to get up to 17 free stocks when you fund and open an account. And if you continue to scroll down on that affiliate link, you'll see the details of those free stocks or that free stock offer. So you get your first stock when you open the account. Once you deposit $100, you'll get a total of 7 free stocks. And if and when you deposit $1,000 into your MooMoo account, that's when you're going to unlock the total 17 free stocks. So this offer is available until March 31st. I would highly encourage you guys to take a look. And for more information, please click the link below. A great way to try out a new trading platform, get some free stocks, and have access to all of these custom and unique features that make investing that much more comfortable. So thanks again to the sponsor of today's video, MooMoo, for opening up this affiliate link and giving us access to this special promotion. Now, getting back to today's presentation, talking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining companies, this is from Google Trends, you guys. It shows the volume of the term Bitcoin being searched worldwide over the last 5 years. You can see the chart follows the price of Bitcoin very closely. We see those big spikes in 2021. But what's nice to see here, you guys, is we're seeing a real uptick over the last couple of weeks in the number of people that are searching for the term Bitcoin. Now, what's interesting here again is although the price is higher than it's been in the last 6 months, we're not even close to the spikes we saw back in November of 2022. So at that point in time, there was about 33 million weekly searches for the term Bitcoin. Compared to nowadays, there's only about 28. And if you actually look back at that Bitcoin chart, you can see in November of last year, Bitcoin was trading at about $28,000. Now it's at $38,000, so about a third bigger market cap or valuation. However, the overall search volume is still a fraction of what it was in November of last year. So what this means to me, you guys, is mainstream retail investors are not yet comfortable with the story. They're not yet jumping back in, but we're still seeing that huge move in the underlying price, which to me indicates that there's institutional activity going on here. And although the relative interest in Bitcoin is still subdued or pulled back from where it was a couple of months ago, the actual price action is moving in a huge way. Now, I personally think that's going to change quite quickly here. If you search Bitcoin on Google, you'll see a number of articles that have been published in the last couple of days talking about this breakout, the fact that Bitcoin has now reached $28,000 US, the relationship between the crypto market and the mainstream equity market, the impact of the Fed's U-turn in terms of interest rates. There's a lot of buzz being created around Bitcoin right now. Twitter is absolutely blowing up in terms of the activity and the number of posts. So I would expect retail to start to catch up here and mainstream media to really push this story as we saw in the last bull run a couple of years ago. Now, one of my viewers had brought up the fact that I put out a video at the start of the year, my first one of the year, talking about my top 3 picks for the Bitcoin space, which were Hut 8 Mining, Bitfarms, and CleanSpark, and why I was so confident about this sector at that point in time. And I replied back to him saying, I think it was really a perfect storm situation. We had interest rates rising, we had the crash of Bitcoin and crypto around the world, NFTs were in a bad spot, the market in general, the equity market was absolutely floundering, you guys. We had geopolitical tension in Europe and uncertainty across the world. You had the big meltdown of BlockFi and FTX. And overall, the investment community's appetite for tech, speculative stocks, and unproven business models was at an all-time low. So in my mind, being from Alberta, it was very similar to what we saw with oil and gas a few years ago when oil futures were trading negative or around $0 a barrel, which was absolutely unheard of, you guys. I think it was representing a perfect storm, as I mentioned, for anyone that had a long-term focus and the staying power to make it through this tumultuous year. So you now may be asking yourself, okay, well now what's changed 3 months into 2023? What is the catalyst for this big breakout? We've still got the war going on in Europe. We still had those mainstream crypto exchange collapses with FTX and BlockFi. But in my personal opinion, the drama we've seen in the last couple of weeks about Silicon Valley Bank and the contagion impact of that crash is really the catalyst for cryptocurrency and what I'm going to call the TSN turning point for this sector overall in the next couple of years. So as many of you know, SVB or Silicon Valley Bank has now filed for bankruptcy, or the parent company of SVB has filed for bankruptcy. The US government has gone in and bailed them out. They've secured any deposits over $250,000 US. So anyone that had money at that bank can go in and get their money out. And what that really means, you guys, is the fractional reserve system of banking has changed fundamentally moving forward. So as we came off the gold standard, banks went into a fractional reserve system where they had to keep a certain portion of their deposits in cash in order to make loans. I believe it's about 10%. However, over the years, banks and banking executives have decided to take more risk, give more potential exposure to their clients, and continue to issue out bigger and bigger loans and mortgages, which they're really in no position to do. Now, SVB failing really shows that the government is not willing to let these banks falter or fail. And in my head, that proves just how ridiculous the fiat banking system is. Not only are they printing money, they're guaranteeing banks success or guaranteeing deposits at these banks. And in general, it just shows the widespread manipulation of the traditional banking system and fiat currencies around the world as we see the contagion factor of SVB spread around the world, and other central banks are continuing to bail out these high-risk lenders. And if you really want to go into detail about this component or about the problems with the fiat or traditional banking industry, I would highly encourage you guys to take a read of the Bitcoin Standard. I just finished this book. It absolutely opened my eyes to the power of Bitcoin. It made me feel 100 times more confident with my investments. And as I mentioned, I think the bottom is in for Bitcoin. I think people are finally starting to wake up to the power of this technology, specifically large-scale institutional investors, which is why we're not seeing that uptick on Google Trends in terms of the search volume from retail investors yet. They're still scared off. But once they start to come back into this market, you guys, I feel like the perfect storm is going to be flipped on its head, and all of these factors are going to be moving in favor of Bitcoin, Bitcoin price, and the companies that are mining Bitcoin behind the scenes. So yes, we've still got the war going on in Europe. However, they've seen the power of cryptocurrency to finance and move funds around to support that war effort. Yes, we had the crash of FTX and BlockFi, but that was people ultimately that caused that problem to arise, not the underlying technology of Bitcoin or blockchain operations. Yes, we had Silicon Valley Bank crash, but that really proved how fragile and artificial the existing banking system is. And despite this bear market we've seen in crypto over the last year or so, a lot of the big banks, the Morgan Stanleys of the world, are moving into this space in relation to requests from their customers to gain exposure to this asset class and really provide new offerings to give exposure to crypto and Bitcoin for their clients. So I personally feel like everything has flipped on its head. It went from Bitcoin being the problem with everything in the world to really Bitcoin being the solution to a lot of these mainstream problems. So with all that being said, how does that now translate into my investment strategy or thesis for the remainder of 2023? Well, honestly, it doesn't really change it a lot. So my top 2 holdings and my top 2 picks for the year are still Hut 8 Mining and Bitfarms Limited. You can see Hut 8 up about 9%. This was as of close on Friday, March 17th to $2.57 Canadian. However, what's interesting here, you guys, is we're not even close to where we were back in February of $3.20. And on February 2nd, if we go back to our Bitcoin chart, you can see it was trading at about $31,000 Canadian. So we're up about 20% from that point in time. However, the share price of Hut 8 is still about 80 cents below where it was at that point. Now, they have announced that big potential merger with US Bitcoin. I know a lot of investors are concerned or at least a little bit cautious about that potential merger. However, at its core, you guys, Hut 8 still owns the same number of Bitcoin as it did a couple of months ago, if not a few more. And with the price of Bitcoin being up 20%, I still think Hut 8 represents an amazing buy. The merger with US Bitcoin is going to give them access to a ton of power capacity, a number of new mining sites in the United States, and a place to install all the machines that they had to pull out of their North Bay facility. So I personally think that will be a synergistic move for Hut 8. I fully trust the management team. We've had them on the channel a number of times. I think they do have the best interests of the investors at heart. So not only is the underlying price of Bitcoin, in my opinion, not being reflected in the share price, but you're also not factoring in all the potential synergies and opportunities of that huge US Bitcoin merger that's expected to close sometime in Q2 of this year. So overall, Hut 8 Mining, still my largest position of any company in any of my portfolios, and still extremely bullish on this stock moving into the remainder of 2023. Now, Bitfarms is my other top holding, you guys. BITF on the Toronto Stock Exchange, same ticker on the NASDAQ. They were up about 11% on Friday to close out at $1.31 Canadian. Same story as Hut 8 Mining. If you go back just a couple of months, so the middle of January, they were trading in the $1.61 range. So down about 30 cents from their highs that we saw in the last couple of months, despite the rally we've seen in Bitcoin. And what's so exciting to me about Bitfarms is they're mining about half of the Bitcoin of some of the main players in this space. So think about Riot or Marathon. Their monthly production is about half of those giants. However, their market cap is sitting sub $300 million Canadian. They really don't have a large reserve on their hands, and that's been one of my criticisms of this company. They've been selling off the Bitcoin they mine each month to fund their operations. However, now that we're starting to see some big moves in the price of Bitcoin, they're going to have to sell fewer and fewer coins each month to support operations. They've cleared up a ton of their debt, and they're going to start to accumulate Bitcoin on their balance sheet and build that reserve. So considering the market cap and the hash rate of this company, this is still definitely one of my top 3 picks. Almost like Bitfarms more than Hut 8 at this point in time because of their run rate and because of their runway moving forward, but definitely still betting on a number of horses in this race. Now, I didn't pull up CleanSpark because I now have a tie for my 3rd top pick, you guys, between CleanSpark and TeraWulf. We've had both of them on the channel. Both of them are extremely efficient miners based in the United States, and I'm going to be opening up positions in each one of these over the next couple of weeks, which I'll keep you guys posted about on the channel. Now, I'd be super curious to hear your thoughts about this video. What are your predictions on Bitcoin price for the end of the year? What are your thoughts on the recent moves we've seen in the price of Bitcoin? And what are your top picks in this space that you're currently buying or holding? If you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button, you guys. Check out the link to MooMoo in the video description below. And if you're not currently subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to join. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.